I am here to talk about more heavy topics. It might not be a heavy hitter, but we gotta put it in our diary. Welcome back to Ayarys Pena Diaries. Today, I just want to talk to you guys. I feel like I've been having a lot of deep and personable conversations with a lot of people, and sometimes I feel like sometimes giving off your perspective or allowing people to see your mindset in a deeper way and giving that space for vulnerability and having those type of conversations, a safe conversation, can be you know not the safe place to do on the internet, because you get a lot of judgment and a lot of input and perspective from a lot of people, which they might not respect your perspective or your understanding of a situation. But all you can do is, be yourself and see where life takes you. I was having this conversation with someone this week about love, and that dating in this generation is a little bit tougher than most, and I could understand that. A lot of factors have changed. The economy is not in the best state, and we're just carrying a lot of loads, mentally, physically. A lot of us are getting a little bit more generationally aware and understand that maybe the things that were implemented for our parents are not something that we need to be implementing for ourselves, but it's also a lot more stressful on an individual on their own. So they might not be looking for a partnership because life is just not hitting. But I also wanted to talk to people that don't feel like love is something that they want to obtain because they just don't want to be hurt. I was talking to someone about being in a relationship, and I was like, I don't feel like I'm afraid to fall in love. I'm not afraid. I know that sometimes with love comes the jurisdiction of being hurt. It's giving someone the vulnerability to hold your heart, and they can do whatever they please with it. Even if you set boundaries, even if you have a rule break, even if you have the best communication style, you never know how they handle your heart. As a kid, when we get toys, it might be an expensive gift that we were granted with that toy or whatever that item was, and sometimes we don't handle it with the most care. We might bang it up, or misplace it somewhere by accident or not maliciously, because as kids we just don't know the value of it. And it could be the same in a relationship. But I think when you're going into dating and you're wanting to find love, you also have to not fear love. I feel like now it feels like we're just in a place where we fear things so deeply. And I was talking to someone, I was like, I have experienced two beautiful loves, even if they were one-sided or whatever the case may be. They might not have had the same amount of love that I have had for them. But regardless of it, to me, I have had two beautiful experiences of love. And there are people out there in the world that have not even experienced one, and crave that type of intimacy and crave that type of foundation in any way. It's something that people desire and dream of. I'm not going to say that it didn't hurt, or that those situations couldn't have been dealt with differently, or they just didn't impact my heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point of love. Like, you get into that space, there's always the underlying rule that hurt can happen. But I don't have a fear to fall in love. I'm okay with falling in love because it's a feeling that I don't feel like you would ever regret. Like, I would never go back in time and be like, I don't want to experience this. It's an experience that you feel and you're like, that's amazing. I don't have a fear to be in love. But people have a fear to allow people in their life to that point of vulnerability, because if you are in love with someone, you have to be vulnerable. You have to have that space, you have to have that comfortability. And if you're afraid of being vulnerable, then you have a fear of falling in love. When people have a fear to fall in love, it it can tend to put up walls, barriers, or it just might be a difficult situation. And if we're all in fear, how are we all seeking the same truth? Even in the Bible, God talks about not fueling the fire for love, not seeking it or searching it for it in our own ways, in our own paths, and that if we do fuel that fire, that it is one that won't burn out. But when we think about fire, it's something that's hot and it hurts. If a fire burns, it's going to burn. It's not going to be a pleasant feeling. And even he says that it's hard to die out those fires. So when we fall in love, you have to understand that those feelings can take longer to pass us, can take longer to leave, because that is how things can happen to be. And even if you don't believe in God, or you have whatever beings you believe in, it's still the way of life, like manifestation, and you know, soul ties. It's just something that you can carry with you. So I feel like it's having an understanding of what can be the consequences of something and still pursuing it. There are consequences to every situation that we still do, like drinking and going out. There are so many things that could happen going out with anyone, friends, family, whatever the case may be, and we still decide to, and we do it with an open heart and without a care, mind, or at ease. You know what I'm saying? We just go straight into it, head moving forward, and don't think about it second, third, fourth. But for some reason, when it comes to being in a relationship and wanting love and wanting that intimacy, we tend to, not everyone does, but most of the society and the dating market right now tends to not generally be involved in that aspect that deeply. And it could stem from not seeing success, or it can be from the lack of realistic relationships being broadcasted on social media, because we are in a gender war. Yes, there is a gender war going on social media, and if you don't believe me, go out there and check for yourself. You can do it for yourself. With the gender war going on like it is, it feels like everybody's always butting heads, and we're never going to come to an agreement if we don't have open-ended conversations. I know that there are males out there that you can have conversations with, and there are females that you can't have conversation with. But sometimes we have to adjust our language and try to not push the all men and all women situation. I know I tend to do it occasionally. I'm not going to say that I don't, but I do have a bad habit of doing that in some situations. But if we can just fix our verbiage in certain instances so we don't categorize everybody in that same bucket. I know it might not be a high percentage. It might be 1% of people that don't do that. It might be 1% of people that do that. But we're categorizing a whole margin of a group of categories of people into a situation of failing relationships, when I think both parties, whatever gender, have a lot of working and healing to do before trying to blame a finger at the other. If you point at you, there's 4 fingers pointing back. You know, there's nothing that you can say about someone else that they can't point something out about you. We all have things to work on. We all have things to do and things to heal and push ourselves to do. But I feel like sometimes we don't take that into account, which can cause strife. But I hope you're eager to fall in love. I'm eager. Like, I'm not eager. I'm not in a rush. But I'm going to let it happen. And I don't have a fear of it. I'm excited if I fall in love. And I'm excited to experience another love in my life. It will be a beautiful experience. And whatever the case may be and how it ever happens, the pain that comes afterwards, if there is pain, I will heal from it. I've done it before. Like, pain and circumstances in life happens. And it's how you get through those circumstances that makes you stronger in character and your resilience and your endurance. And I feel like when you learn how to soothe yourself and be there for yourself, you can get through a lot of situations. So be optimistic, stay positive. Thank you for watching this video. Besitos. Bye.